On the first Monday of August, I jumped on a plane and took off to London. I was supposed to go with a friend, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. I was currently reading A Sorceress Comes to Call by Kingfisher, which I originally read as a physical hardback book that I borrowed from a library, but I didn't want to bring that to London, so I managed to get it as an ebook, and that's what I read on my way. I landed at Gatwick Airport and I took the Gatwick Express train from the airport to London Victoria. And from London Victoria, I took the tube to my hotel.
I am in London! Woo! Oh, so happy to be here. Very, very happy to be here. And I'm hungry and will soon go and find something to eat. I was supposed to have been here with a friend of mine. Unfortunately, she's fallen ill and I'm here on my own. I haven't had much to eat today. I had breakfast, which was around 6 a.m. UK time, and then I had a smoothie at the airport in Oslo, which was around 11 a.m. UK time, and it's now 6 p.m. UK time. So I guess it's about time to eat, and I've asked my dear friend, the app Happy Cow. Yes, I love the app Happy Cow because it's very informative for vegans and vegetarians on where to find food. So Happy Cow told me that there is a pasta place nearby and I think I'll check them out. Hopefully they will have something nice to eat for me. It has actually been a few hours since I came back to the hotel and I have just been chilling, relaxing, watching TV, YouTube, things like that. The pasta place I went to was called Emilia's Crafted Pasta and I had a homemade pistachio pesto with sauteed cherry tomatoes and it was delicious. It was super yummy. I wish I could make that. I wish I had the recipe for it, to be honest with you. It was so nice. On the flight to London, I finished the book that I have been reading lately, which is A Sorceress Comes to Call by Kingfisher. I think I would classify this book as dark fantasy. I think maybe you could say it has horror elements, but it's not really a horror book, but I really liked it. One of the main characters in the book is Cordelia, who is a 14-year-old girl, and she lives with her mother. Her mother is fairly cruel in my opinion, and she's a sorceress. And they live in this house, and this house has no door because, as her mother says, they have no secrets. And Cordelia is not allowed to have any friends either. Then her mother one day decides to move them into a house, a manor, which is very different to a squire, and the sorceress plans to marry this guy. But this guy, he has a sister, and Cordelia kind of becomes friends with this sister, who is an older lady, of course, and they pretend, or Cordelia's mother makes Cordelia pretend that she's 17 rather than 14, which is her real age. So needless to say, this move makes a lot of changes into both of them's lives, especially Cordelia's life. And with those changes comes consequences, sort of. I'm not going to say anything more because that will spoil the book and I don't want to do that. Needless to say, I just loved this book. It was so good, and I think personally I prefer T. Kingfisher's fantasy book rather than horror books, so I haven't really read a lot of her horror books, but I'll probably read more of her books for sure. I have also picked up again Spellbound by Nicole Forde Thomas, which I've been reading for a good while, but that's okay. It's a fantasy book and I'm really enjoying it, so it's not that, but it's just that other books keeps coming in the way. But I do want to continue reading this, and I think I'll try to focus on that book here when I'm on my London trip. That's it for today. I am going to head to bed, and I will not set an alarm for tomorrow. I will just sleep until I wake up by myself, and I can't wait to do that. Good morning. I have actually been awake for a good while, a few hours I think. I woke up super early for some stupid reason, and I haven't really done anything. I've pretty much just sit and done nothing. I listened to a podcast called Bittelitteratur. I don't know how to translate that because it has like a double meaning in a way. It's a Norwegian literature podcast. It's not very deep, it's just very wholesome and nice. And I really enjoy it. And also, disclaimer, it's my colleagues who make it. So I will leave a link in the description box for the podcast so you can check it out yourself if you understand Norwegian, because it is in Norwegian and you need to know, or you need to understand Norwegian to get anything from it, I guess. Now I am going to head out and find some breakfast. I had a look on the map to see if there was anything close by, and there was a place that looked interesting, so that's where I am going to go. I think it's a cafe, and it's called Clean's Heart Cafe, and it looks nice. So if the menu online is anything like what they actually have, it'll be really good. So that's what I'm going to do now, and yeah, let's just head off and take it from there.
After having breakfast, I stumbled upon this charity shop when I was heading towards Tesco, and of course, it was the bookshelf I found the most interesting.
It's just 11 p.m, but I've been out and about for a bit, and I thought I would just come back to the apartment. It's an apartment hotel to relax. Breakfast was very nice. I had something called strawberry sunshine. It was basically sourdough bread with avocado, strawberries, pine nuts, and a vegan feta cheese, and that was very yummy. I also went to a grocery shop to get some food items for breakfast for the next days, because eating out is very expensive, and I thought I should not just use all my money on food. So I just thought that I would have some food items to have for breakfast here, and I'll go out and eat dinner and such things. I also popped in by a charity shop where they had some books, and I picked up this book, which I don't know a whole lot about, but it's a fantasy book, and it's a Greek mythology retelling, I think. It's called Ithaca, and it's by Claire North. I don't know much about it, but I think it's the first in a series or the first in a trilogy. I don't quite know. I also walked by a shop that had clearance on tights, and I've been meaning to see if I could find striped tights for a good while because they're very hard to get by, at least where I live. And I found 3 different kinds, and I bought 3, and I paid a total of £12 for 3 pairs of tights, so I'm mega happy about that. So I got them in white and black, red and black, and of course, this should not be a surprise, purple and black, because purple is my favorite color, if you haven't guessed already. I have decided that I want to start a new book, and I'm going to start Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio, and then I'm looking at you. You made me pick this up. So I think it should be fine. I think it looks good. Also, if you're not following Wen, you should do that, and there's a link to his channel in the description box, of course. Also, there's a little reading nook in the windowsill. This cushion was there already. So I'm going to sit here and read for a bit before I head out. I'm here at this authentic Indian restaurant, and the food is so good. It's so flavorful, and I'm loving it. And the pop that I have is called Thumbs Up, and the only place I've seen it before was when I was in India. Super happy.
After dinner, I went to Liverpool Street Station, which is both a train station and a tube station, and I went there to take the tube. And I headed into the city centre and got off at Piccadilly Circus, because at Piccadilly Circus, or close to Piccadilly Circus, you can find one of my favourite bookshops. Yes, Waterstones Piccadilly. Waterstones Piccadilly is Europe's largest bookshop. This bookshop is a shop of 5 floors, I think, and it has about 13 kilometers of bookshelves, which is mind-blowing. After being at Piccadilly, I went to Hatchards booksellers, and this is London's oldest bookshop, and it was established in 1797 by John Hatchard. After book browsing, I went to Fortnum and Manson for, basically looking for tea, but it was so crowded, so I hardly stayed there. I just decided that I would go back to the hotel.
I am back at the hotel after having visited a couple of bookshops in the city centre and Fortnum and Mason, which is basically a tea shop. I didn't buy anything at all, actually, which was surprising, but it was so crowded. I think it's because it's August and there's so many tourists. Of course, I'm a tourist as well, but it was just so many people, and I'm tired. So I didn't buy anything at all. It is actually closing up to dinner time, and I am meeting up with the lovely Dee Dee for dinner, and it's not too far to walk from here, so I will leave in not too long and have dinner, and I'm looking forward to that. I am back from dinner with the lovely Dee Dee. I had vegan steak, which was very tasty. I just wish the broccolini had been warmer, and I also wish there was a little bit of a gravy with it, but there wasn't. But it still tasted nice, and the staff was really friendly as well. We talked a lot about books and YouTube and life, I guess. It was so nice. I had a really wonderful time. It is getting late, so I am going to get ready and go to bed and read a little and then probably sleep. Hopefully I'll sleep a little bit longer tomorrow, I hope. So I was brushing my teeth and I realized that I think I forgot to mention that I finished Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio today. It was a very short book. And this is a book I picked up because Ven talked about it in his Daunt July wrap-up for the readathon that they had in July, the horror book. And it sounded really interesting, so I picked it up. And I read it today. It was okay. Not super good or anything. It was like middle of the three. If I was to give anything like a rating, I think I would have given it a 3 out of 6 or a 2 out of 3, all depending on how you rate things. But yeah, it was okay. It was like a dark academia horror story, I guess. Don't really know what to say about it. Is there much to say about it? Not sure. I am very tired. I'm going to go to bed. Good morning. I think I might go and see if I can find coffee somewhere.
I actually ended up going to one of my favorite coffee places in London, which is Origin. It's situated quite close to the British Library, and they have a lighter roast of beans, and I prefer to get one of the hand brews because it's my sort of thing. It's a slow sort of thing with the hand brew, of course, and I realized that they had vegan cake, so it was so lovely to sit there, have my cake, read my book, and also doing a little bit of a people watching. After coffee, it was time for me to do a little bit of a book shopping, and the first stop was Daunt Books. This is mainly a non-fiction bookshop. They do have some fiction as well, but mostly it's non-fiction, and they do have both second-hand and new books. My next stop for the book shopping was another favorite of mine, which is Gaze the Word. And it turned out that this had moved to a temporary location, but this bookshop is so good. It has a great selection of LGBTQ plus books, and of course I make sure to buy something every time I'm there just to show support. Another bookshop that I really love is Skoob, and the Skoob Books is actually a fully second-hand bookshop. This is the type of shop where you need a lot of time. So you can go around and browse, look at all the books, and see if you can find a little bit of a gem.
I have been sitting and chilling in the park for a bit. I just love that, and that's the thing I really love about London. It's all these little green pockets, like these small or smallish parks everywhere, and you can just sit there and do nothing. I am now on my way to a vegan bakery, and I am excited about seeing what they have. I went for a pain au chocolat and latte.
After coffee and pastry, I headed to one of the many other Waterstones in London.
So I did do a little bit of book shopping today, actually. I thought I would just quickly go through the books that I got, just to let you know what I bought. The first book I got was at Gaze the Wood, which is currently actually at another location than they usually are. It's very short between the two locations, and they're going back to the original location, but there's some work being done there. And I find it very important that every time I visit them, I buy at least one book, because I do want them to still be around and to support them. The first book I got was Homegrown Magic by Jamie Paxton and Rebecca Podas. This is a cottagecore fantasy. It's supposed to be a cozy fantasy, and the main character is non-binary, so I'm very excited to find out how this is like, and very much looking forward to reading it. A second-hand bookshop that I very often visit when I'm in London is Skoob Books, and I think the most important thing when you visit there is to have plenty of time, because it is a little bit of a treasure hunt when you're there. Sometimes I find a few books that I like, and sometimes I don't find anything. This time around I found one book, and I was super happy about that. And the book that I found was this edition of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And this is a edition that I have not seen before, so that was very exciting. It's a hardback edition, and it was only £7.50, and I was so pleased about that. You might be wondering, but Luna, don't you already have an edition of Pride and Prejudice? Yes, I do. I have several, because I collect them. I do collect Jane Austen books, and especially different editions of Pride and Prejudice. I also stumbled upon another Waterstones, and I picked up a book that kind of just spoke to me, and it was this book, The Library Thief, by Kwanchenga Shenje. I'm not very good at knowing how to pronounce this name, but it's such a beautiful book, and also it really intrigued me. Good morning! I am having a really slow morning today. It is my last full day in London, and I am going to do stuff today, but I just need to take it slowly. I have been trying to have like a slow pace for my trip, like in accordance with slow living, I guess. So far today I've had breakfast and I had a shower and been watching YouTube videos and meditated, of course. But other than that, I haven't done much, and it's not that far from noon. 50 minutes, I think. So still technically morning, but almost noon. And I will head out at some point. I'm not sure when exactly yet. I'm meeting up with people at 7 p.m. And before that, there are things I want to do, but as I said, I'm trying to take it slowly. I think the first thing I want to do when I leave is to go find coffee and have a cup of coffee and just sit reading before I actually venture further out.
I actually ended up not going for coffee. Instead, I went out and found a couple of more Waterstones to visit. There's so many Waterstones in London. After visiting the Waterstones, I decided to head out to Marylebone. And the main reason for me to visit Marylebone is to visit Daunt Books. This is such a beautiful bookshop. I think it's one of the most beautiful bookshops that I know of. And its premises is an old Edwardian building.
It feels like I haven't done a lot today. I ended up going back to one of the Waterstones that I went to yesterday because there was a really pretty edition of a Kingfisher book that I bought. I saw it yesterday and I thought, I want that. And I didn't find it in any of the other Waterstones I visited today, so I just went back. And there was a cafe in the basement there. So I sat there and had coffee and read, and now I'm going to head for the meetup, the book crossing meetup at a pub. So that'll be fun. Oh, and I had dinner at a vegan place, and I had vegan spaghetti carbonara. I am back from being out and about. It was super nice to meet the book crossers. Some of them I've known for years. And I thought I would show you the books that I have acquired today. So the first I got was the one I bought in Waterstones, which is the Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher, the special edition. It's a I think it's a special anniversary edition apparently, and it has sprayed edges. It's so beautiful, and it's also signed by the author. I thought I would show you if I can. There we go, signed by the author. It's super nice. And then I got 2 book crossing books. I was surprised I didn't take more, but those were the only 2 that kind of grasped my attention. And the first one is Interpreter of Maladies by Jhumpa Lahiri, which is a book I have been thinking of reading for a good while. So I'm very excited that I got my hands on this. It's an author I really like, but I don't really know a lot about this book itself, but I know that I like the author. The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson was the other book crossing book that I got. I don't really know a lot about it, but I thought it would be really good for December. I am going to do Dark December Readathon again this year. Stay tuned for an announcement video at some point, probably a good while before that comes out, but I think this will be a good book for December. So today was my last full day of London. I am going to make myself a cup of tea and relax for a bit before I head to bed, and I need to plan tomorrow somehow. Good morning. It is my last day in London. I'm heading home today. I have packed and I am now ready to go and check out, and I'll ask them to keep my bags here, my suitcase here, for a while before I head to the airport, because my flight is fairly late. Not super late, but slightly late.
Of course, it was the day when I was heading home that I found this super nice coffee shop close to where I was staying in London. It had really good coffee. For lunch, I headed to Daunt's, a cafe deli bar, which claims to be a Scandinavian vegan place. Yes, that's how they spelt it.
This is today's lunch. It's sourdough bread with Seitan sausage and scrambled tofu, and a cup of what they call Swedish black tea, which I find funny.
Then it was time for me to head to the airport, which went really smoothly actually. On my way to the airport, I found out that my flight was really delayed, so I browsed all the places at the airport with books to find something more light, because I was craving a lighter read and I didn't have any of that on my Kobo that I had brought with me. I had dinner at the airport and it was a ramen, which was overpriced and just okay. As I had so much time to kill at the airport, I started reading my brand new chick lit book, and I've read another book by this author before and I really enjoyed it, so I was quite excited to read this one as well. And then it was finally time to fly back to Norway.
As you can see, I am not at home. I am in a fancy hotel room, which was not the plan. What happened was my flight was almost 2 hours late, which meant that I didn't catch the train that I was supposed to take. And that again meant that if I was to take the airport bus back home, I would have arrived home around 4 a.m. And rather than arriving in Fredrikstad at 4 a.m., meaning I would be home even later, maybe like 4:15 or something, 4:20, depending on how fast I walked. Rather than doing that, I decided to book a hotel room, and my very, very sweet partner paid for it. So I'm super grateful for my partner. My partner is the sweetest, most thoughtful, and just love them to bits. And I haven't seen them in a week. I'm not crying, but I do miss them. That being said, I'm going to go to bed. It is almost 2 a.m., I think. Okay, so it's 1:30 a.m. and that is still quite late. I am one of those people who can't really go straight to bed when I've been traveling. I'm not sure how you feel, but when I've been out traveling, I need to kind of settle down, relax for a bit. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a snack, get into my pajamas and brush my teeth and read my book, I think. I think that's the way to go. I ended up buying a couple of books at the airport, and one of them is this one, From London with Love by Katie Forde. It's supposed to be a really easy read. Chick lit is what we would call it back in the days. I don't know if they still call it chick lit. Kind of romance, I guess. I don't think there's a lot of spice. There shouldn't be a lot of spice. But I just felt like I wanted something really easy to read, and this kind of struck my fancy. And it's a new book. It was published this year. It is 11:15 in the morning. I am going to get my last little packing, and then I am going to check out of the hotel and head for the train and go to Oslo. When I get to Oslo, I think I'll find something to eat and then sit and read my book and eat something, whatever it will be. I don't know yet. And after that, I will do the last leg of my trip and I'll be home.